Hello, viewers at home. Welcome to another edition in this series, Reclaiming Your Life or Reclaiming Your Voice. If you have not listened to the introduction, I would suggest that you go back to my page and listen to the introduction where I spend time to talk about what it means when we lose our voice or we lose our life, and the fact that so many of us we're existing, but we're actually not living. And I took time to explain what it means when somebody has lost their voice. So I'm just going to continue today and talking about in area, what are the things that happens to us that makes us to lose our voice or to makes us to lose our life. Now I'm using the word interchangeably because the essence of living is for us to be able to stand in our own space, in our own place that we have been assigned to by our maker and begin to function from that place. But if we lose our position, if we're not able to stand in the position that we have been planted, then our voice will not have the kind of impact that is supposed to have. So today, I'm just going to talk about in one area that impact us losing our voice, and that has to do with our identity. You see, our personal voice are the things that we say, our ways and method. We express our ideas, we express our belief, we express our values. We are able to stand up for what we believe in. But you find that in so many areas of our lives, so many people are struggling with being able to stand up for what they believe in. But why? So one area, as I said, is looking at our identity. And when I talk about identity, I'm talking about things that has to do with our values, with our beliefs, with our personalities, with our trait, with our expressions, things that makes us distinct as an individual. And you see, when somebody loses their identity, number one, they walk in a certain level of uncertainty. They are not sure about who they really are. They are not sure about their beliefs. They are not sure about where they stand when it comes to issues of life. And the question is, why? Why our identity? Because our voice is an expression of our identity. And when your identity is compromised, your voice is compromised. And how do we lose our identity? Two things I'm just going to share with us today. Number one, we lose our identity when we lose sight of who God has created us to be. From the Word of God, Genesis 1:26 to 28 clearly states that God created everyone in his own image and in his own likeness. If you take the example of Adam and Eve, what happened to them? When they lost sight of who they were in God and listened to another voice to get their own definition from that voice, they lost their place. They lost their place of influence. They lost their place of assignment. And it's the same thing. When we shift our focus from God's definition of us, then we begin to compromise who we really are. From Psalm 139, he's told us he has created us fearfully and wonderfully. And the beautiful thing about it is that even before one page of our life is open, he already has everything written down. But when we do not believe, accept, acknowledge that which our God has already predetermined and pre-proposed for us, and we begin to listen to strange voices, then we are compromising who we are. And this example is clearly seen in the life of the children of Israel. When God once promised them the land of, the land of Canaan, and he told them, that land, I'm going to give it to you. You are my covenant children, and I've already promised Abraham, I'm going to give you that land. And when Moses sent out the spies to go and check the land, 12 spies were sent, 10 came back with evil report. 2 came back with good report. The 12 of them saw the same thing, but 2 decided to look at their life and that situation through the lens of their maker. The other 10 decided to look at the situation through the things that were happening around them. And what did they see? They said we were like grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. It wasn't God that called them grasshoppers. It was not even the people, the Anakims, that called them grasshoppers. They were the ones that called themselves grasshoppers. And because they lost the picture of their true identity in God, they lost their space, they lost their voice, they lost their capacity and ability to be able to walk in the path that their maker has already planned for them. And what happened? All of them perish in the wilderness. And that's what tends to happen. So the first thing I've said today is that we lose our identity when we shift our focus from who God has made us to be. And the second thing, we lose our identity when we start using the things that are supposed to serve us to define who we are. We lose our identity when we start using wealth, position, power, money. We start using who we know, what we drive, the kind of places we go for holiday, the amount of money I have in my bank, the kind of places I go for my shopping, the kind of bag I carry, where I buy my jewelry from, the kind of shoes I wear, things that are meant to serve us. When we start using those things to decide how valuable we are, then we are beginning to compromise our identity. And of course, when your identity is compromised, you will not be able to stand in the place that you are supposed to stand. So how do we begin to reclaim our lives? How do we begin to reclaim our voice? By going back to our Maker and choosing to define and see our life through His own lens. So this series, we're going to be talking a lot about how to reclaim back our life. And the starting point is our identity. So my question to you today, how do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? What defines you? What defines your worth? What are the things that you are using to define your value in life? Do you think you are more valuable because you are wearing diamond and people that are wearing costume jewelries are less valuable than you are? Or do you think that people that are driving state-of-the-art cars, they are more valuable than you because you're still going by public transport? What defines you? What are the things that you hold on to? And those are the things that are using to define your essence, to define how you are. And that's why most of the time we are struggling with unhappiness. We are struggling in the place of misery. We're struggling with self-doubt. We're struggling with lack of confidence. We're struggling being bold in standing for what we believe in. Why? Because we're using the things that are meant to serve us to define who we are. So it's time to go back to the drawing board and begin to ask ourselves, what defines me? Who am I? And when I look into the mirror, who do I see myself to be? What do I call myself? So 2 things I've shared with us today. Number 1, we lose our identity when we shift our focus from our Maker, who has given us an identity that cannot be compromised. Number 2, we lose our identity when we begin to use the things that are meant to serve us to define who we are. And how do we get out of that? To go back to the drawing board and go back to the person that defined us. So I'll be back again another time as we continue on this series, reclaiming our lives and reclaiming our voice. Leave your comment, share the videos, follow my page, and hope to come your way another time. Bye for now.